fuck. It's the most nothing I've ever felt for a completion in my life, I think. Good, I was recording. That was a 48-minute raw footage. That's lovely. Yeah, that is the most nothing I've ever felt for a level completion in my life. This is a dumb level. This level's dumb. It's not even like the worst level I've ever played either. Like, it has its things about it that I do kind of like, but it's just like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, the whole level is just like, why? Like, why'd you do that? I don't get it. I'm just so confused. I've already forgotten the other number. I've already forgotten the other number. It was 20 something. I'll go back and look. 735 plus. So I do have a good bit to say about this level. I'm going to try to keep this shorter than my ABP. Okay, 2417, 2417, 2417, 2417. Let me just get a calculator. I'm not adding three numbers together right now. 4524 plus 735 plus 2417, 7676. Great. So I have a few things to say about this level. First of all, I have a ton of old attempts on this. I mean, at least like 4,000 old. Probably more like 4,500 old. I'd say at least 4,000. I mean, at least 4,000 old attempts on this, because I was playing this level on an older update back when I think it might have still been on the list. If it wasn't on the list, it was close. Like, I was looking at this for either a list level or like a higher end extreme. I was like, I'm gonna do Carcano, why not? And then that was over like a year ago now, because in that time, like I think about a little over a year ago now, there was an update made to this level that did a lot of nerfs and balancing and whatever, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I didn't realize that, so I came back to it like 2 days ago, I think, and I was like, let's try Carcano, and I practiced it on the old version, like the old unnerfed. I don't want to say unnerfed, because I think this might have had multiple updates, I don't know, but on an older version. I was playing on an older, much harder version of Carcano, right? And then I got the new version, and I was like, oh, this is way easier, but like, this most recent update to Carcano is the most confusing update I've ever seen, because it's the first time I've seen like a bug fix, balance, like update like this leave the level at exactly the same quality as it was before. Like, Carcano, this version, right, here's the old version of Carcano, had some glaring issues about it, right? Like, some really obvious moments and points where I was like, that needs fixed. This needs changed. That's a really tight timing, right? That's a terrible, like, lots of little things about the level I was like, yeah, that needs changed. And a lot of those are fixed here, right? Like, these jumps here, like this jump here with these spikes is terrible. This spike here makes this timing really tight. Like, there's a lot of little things throughout the level that I'm like, okay, you know what? That was a good change. Like, this was nerfed. That was lovely. This is a terrible wave part, and it was nerfed. This little beginning of this wave part was nerfed, which is great. Like, lots of little changes throughout, which I'm like, yeah, that's a good change, right? Those are good little tweaks, little adjustments. I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that, right? This gap right here is nerfed in the wave, like, that's great, right? Lots of little things, little tiny little details are like adjusted, which I really do super appreciate. And I was like, that's great, right? This is a good step towards making the level better. And then there are whole ass parts that were just like made objectively worse as far as I'm concerned. Like, this ending right here is one of the only parts of the level that I felt was just like unquestionably fun, right? If you get this timing, then you black orb, you do this jump, you buffer the blue, you click here, hold for 3 jumps, and then pink, out, straight fly. And it was like, oh, that's so satisfying. And for whatever reason in the new version, you saw it in my completion, they broke it up so you have to black orb click here. And because you have to do the black orb click here, I just ended up doing 3 whole clicks here, which is so awkward. And then because of that, this jump is like mega turbo buffed. And then you can like buffer this pink orb and die, so you have to time the pink orb, but you can't time it too late because then obviously you'll die above there. And then this jump here, which I think in both the old and new versions, you can jump too late, hit the blue portal, and then fall into this spike and not actually get the chance to jump, which is just like, well, fucking why? Like, why'd you do that? But this part in this older version is so much more satisfying, and they just like obliterated it in the new update, like just genuinely made it disgusting. This UFO part right here, this gap needed nerfed and nothing was done to change it. This click needed nerfed and nothing was done to change it. Trying trying to think of what other parts I didn't like. Oh, this was buffed, which I didn't even know until I just looked at it right now. This spike became a full spike, which is terrible. Like, I think it's probably an anti-skip so that you can't, like, just hold up through here. But I'm sorry, holding up through here is, like, 10 times harder. Let people do it if they want. Like, that's just a harder way to do it. So it's not an issue if it's, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm so confused by all of this. Like, so much of the update. This swing around, this is the worst. This is the worst. This swing around got consistent enough, but the way you do this, if you hit the block down here, then hit this portal and hold, you die to the spike when you become big. But if you don't hit this block and you hold all the way, you go in perfectly, right? But the problem is if you hit here and hold, like hit down here and hold, then you have to like let go strategically to make it into here. So there are times where you don't hit this, you just go in this normally, and holding all the way would work fine, and then you let go a little bit thinking, oh, I need to adjust, and then you die to that spike. It's like, just make this a smaller spike and it's not a problem. It's just so much shit like this throughout this level. It's like, how did you have an opportunity to better the level, improve the level, and you took some things that were terrible and improved them, and some things that were totally fine and fucked them up for no reason? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Like, this wave was untouched. Like, why? This was buffed, but I think it was an anti-skip because you could change gravity on this slope and then you didn't have to do the timing, which, like, fine. This was nerfed. That was a great nerf. Like, thank you. That's a really good decision. Nerf this click. It's terrible. Like, yes, awesome. This was buffed, I think. This spike was moved right, I'm pretty sure. Like, why? You didn't need to do that. That was unnecessary. There was no point to that. This is the single most confusing thing about this level. This section right here. It's like, they took this section, which was already pretty fine, like I didn't have too much of a problem with it. This jump was tricky, but aside from that, it's whatever. And decided, let's make the easy jumps in this part really hard, and the hard jumps in this part really easy. Like this blue orb in the new version, there's a mini spike on the left up here, which is just like, why did you add that? You don't need that. That's just entirely pointless. And then in the new version, they just remove this spike entirely. Like, didn't replace it with a smaller one, just don't have a spike here. So this jump's actually free. I'm pretty sure they nerfed this. I doubt this is still in the level. And then this jump was buffed. It's like, what are you doing? And then this portal right here, this wave portal, if you hold into this wave portal, you go down as a mini wave and die. So you have to, like, wait a tiny little fraction of a second to click in here. And it's like, if you want to force sync in a fun, enjoyable way, put an orb, like, right above this spike, right? Like put a red orb, like right here. Yeah, increase, that's great. Put a red orb right here, scale it down, whatever. Right? Like red orb, great. And then now you can't buffer this, and then just make it so that this, you can't like die by holding a little before the portal, and then the sync is still intact. The D blocks here, for whatever reason, don't extend all the way up, so if you do get a really good grab in this portal, you just die, because fuck you, to like the block right here. It's like so much of this shit, it's like you had an opportunity to bug fix the level, and this is still here. Like, how? How did you leave this shit in? Right? A lot of stuff at this part was nerfed. This was nerfed, which is just like a great change. Like, that was, thank you. That was lovely. This was nerfed. This whole wave section was nerfed. It's like a lot of the changes in this are really smart. And I liked a lot of the differences, right? Like, a lot of changes in this I really did enjoy, and I thought really improved the level. And then there are some changes where it's just like, what the fuck were you thinking, man? Like, what were you doing? What was the point of this? What was the plan here? Like, hello? I don't know. There's a bunch more. I could go on forever. This jump was kind of annoying and didn't really get a nerf, which felt weird. Oh, no, wait. Sorry, the worst offender. I forgot to talk about. This entire fucking section... Oh, you can't even see it. This entire section is so ass. So this, first of all, this was made a mini ship in the new version, which was great. I was like, that's the perfect way to nerf this part, because the control you need to transition into this, like, as a normal ship is awfully difficult, especially considering that you come off of this pink orb differently every single time you click it, right? So I was like, that's a great change, right? That's just patently awesome change. Oh, this was stupid. This spike needs nerfed, by the way. That spike needed nerfed, and this red orb needs moved to the left. That was a really awkward thing where you had to, like, jump in, and then you had to, like, click late and, like, barely not hit the spike, right? Because you can't click before the portal to, like, straighten out here, so it was really, really awkward. That needed fixed, and that wasn't fixed. Sorry, back to the thing I was talking about, which is this whole section. So this jump was buffed! Holy shit, it was buffed! Wait, was this a buff? Maybe? This was buffed. Why would you buff this jump? Oh my god, what the fuck were you thinking? This is so bad! bad! This is so bad! This jump did not need changed. It's fine as is. This was buffed in the, like, air quotes, fixed, updated version. Why? Why? Reminder, I'm looking at the old original version. This was buffed. This is, like, basically a full spike. I think it is a full spike. How? How the fuck do you mess that up? What? I don't understand. Okay, and then just like in both the old and new versions, this section of gameplay is just not good gameplay, right? Because every click is so dependent on every previous click in such an annoying, obnoxious way, right? Because the jump before this blue portal right here, if you do it early enough, you hit this yellow orb nice and comfortably, and you make this arc. If you do it too late enough, comfortable yellow orb dies here, right? Which is like just the worst delayed consequence gameplay I've ever seen. Like, huh? Like, why? Just this spike is unnecessary. Just make it smaller, problem solved, right? Or just put something here so that you can't jump too early, like too late here, so you can't die to this anyway. So this always works. It's like, what? And then this is fine enough. And then this pink orb is disgusting because this slope gives you no leeway whatsoever, because remember, you can kind of fudge like a little bit of going into a solid block, like a square block or like a line object, right, with your like head as a cube. A slope will not give you that forgiveness. So this is just a terrible timing. I mean, just awful timing. This section, I can't believe that jump was buffed. That's the most brain dead decision in the whole update. Why? It doesn't need buffed. It was fine as is. This is one of the harder parts of the level, and you made it harder. Like, how do you fuck that up that badly? I'm so confused. Truly, this is the most confusing update I've ever seen to a level. This click was entirely removed, which, like, whatever, it didn't change anything. This click was free anyway. Now you just don't do it. That's not any problem. This ship part needed changed, by the way. This ship part's terrible. Again, like, the problem with an update to this level is the core gameplay is already kind of not great. So, like, I get where it was probably difficult to make it fun, right? And, like, leaving this alone, I don't like the ship part, but, like, I get why you wouldn't change it, right? My suggestion would be this spike right here. Not the one I'm moving, but the one to the right that I can't click because it's on a different layer, because fuck me, I guess. Make that one of these spikes, and that would have just been more forgiving towards the end here, because this holdup was really annoying. I think this might have been buffed, too. This spike right here might have been buffed too. I'm not sure. I don't know. But this part's just like really not good gameplay, in my opinion. But yeah, no, just so many brain dead decisions in this update. Like, it was so confusing to me. Such a confusing level. I really don't understand it. Like, the whole fucking update was just like made by a 7-year-old spinning a wheel. It really just feels like they just like flipped a coin to see if they were going to fix the issue or not fix the issue. And if there was no issue, they flipped a coin to see if they were going to ruin that part or not ruin that part. I mean, just the most bizarre experience I've had in so long playing this game. It makes no sense. This was a stupid level. This is a stupid level. It's kind of fun. Like, there are parts of it where it's like when it works and when you're getting consistent with it, it's enjoyable. And I thought learning this was actually pretty decent, right? Like, getting a feel for everything is pretty decent. This is really fun to do runs on, actually. Like, doing something kind of middle of the drop all the way to the end, I think is okay. Like, it's fine. It's livable, right? But holy hell, is playing from zero just the most thing you've ever done. I mean, there's just like nothing interesting happening. And there's a whole swath of the like right before the drop that's just like empty. Like, why? Like, why would you just not put something there? I don't get it. Let's just have emptiness. I don't know. Just the most confusing experience I've had in a while. Definitely not one of the worst levels I've ever played. One of the most confusing and brain dead, though. Like, this could have been really, really fun if the people making it, or playtesting it, or verifying it, or updating it, or verifying the update to it, like, knew what they were doing. Right? And, like, if one of those people is watching this video, like, nothing personal, I'm sure this is a 10 out of 10 level for you. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of those things where it's like, this got an update, and I'm sure that the person updating it was like, yeah, this is so much better, I love this. And, like, that's great. It ultimately comes down to personal preference. But it does really feel like no one actually cared about the level in updating it. It really just, it's insane to me that this is the finished product. It really is. Like, this is like Mark 1 of like the layout testing phase, where you give it to a bunch of playtesters and they give you their feedback. Like, I can't believe this is the finished product. Okay, well, I probably didn't do a good job of keeping that concise, but whatever. I'm done now. I'm going to go not play Carcano ever again. And I'm also going to cut the recording here now. Bye!